So over the past couple of weeks, I have been looking at the two previous Cat Quest games in preparation for this game, which is Cat Quest 3. And now the day has come when I can finally talk about Cat Quest 3. So before we start, I just want to do a bit of housekeeping first. If you end up liking this video, please leave a like and subscribe, as I will be doing videos like this on more games releasing later this year. A couple of which will be Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, as well as Silent Hill 2 remakes. So if those interest you, please subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started and look at Cat Quest 3. So Cat Quest 3 was developed once again by the Gentle Bros, and this time it was published by Kelper Interactive. The game was released on August 8th, 2024 on PlayStation 5, PS4, Nintendo Switch, the Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One and PC via Steam. The game originally had the subtitle of Pirates of the Caribbean, but much like Cat Quest 2, the name got changed to the much simpler title Cat Quest 3. So the story of Cat Quest 3 follows once again a cat, and this time they're on the search for the mythical treasure of the North Star. But there is kind of a race against time, as there are also a few other factions, I guess, that are trying to search for the North Star as well. So your goal is to find it before your opponents do. Just like with the two previous games, you're once again joined by a companion. This time they are called Captain Cappy, and they once again fulfill the same purpose as the two previous companions did, by having a voice for a character to speak with, as once again the playable character is mute. What sets Cat Quest 3 apart from the two previous games is with Cat Quest 1 and 2, they were based in a more fantasy realm, whereas Cat Quest 3 is set in a more piratey, privateer world. And I think the change of scenery actually helps the game stand out. Obviously with the previous two, but also as a whole, I think it's the more stronger title of the three games we've gotten so far. My overall thoughts on the story is that, like I just mentioned, I do think it is the strongest out of the three. If you have played the two previous Cat Quest games, then it does also go into like the lore of the Cat Quest worlds, I guess. So if you are quite interested in the kind of lore behind the Cat Quest games, then you'll not be disappointed by Cat Quest 3. Much like the previous two games, Cat Quest 3 is once again a action RPG where you can gather weapons and armor to make your character stronger. Just like with the two previous games, you also have spells that you can equip to either the bumpers or the triggers. And if you've played the two previous Cat Quest games, then the land gameplay is very reminiscent of those two games. Notice how I said land gameplay instead of overall gameplay, and that is because in Cat Quest 3 it fully leans into the pirate fantasy, where within the first, I want to say 5 minutes, you get a ship, and the ship combat is not the most in-depth. Like, don't expect Assassin's Creed 4 or Kingdom Hearts 3 level of ship combat, but the ship combat in this game is very impressive. You can control the ship with a control stick, and you press the attack button, which on PlayStation is square. Depending on how close you are to the enemy, I want to say it auto locks on, but don't quote me on that. While sailing around the world, you not only find the regular chests that hold weapons and armor for your character, but also special silver chests which hold blueprints that you can use to upgrade your ship. Some of these blueprints include extra health, higher damage on your cannons, or a different special attack for the ship. As pressing one of the shoulder buttons, your ship has a special attack that can deal more damage, but it is on a cooldown, so you can't keep spamming it. The cooldown isn't too long, it's about 20 seconds I want to say, but depending on which blueprint you get, you can add an additional charge for this special attack. You can't equip all the blueprints you find in one go, as depending on what level you are determines how many slots you have available for ship blueprints. Another new addition I want to talk about is that you get a secondary weapon in this game, and as you're playing as a pirate, that takes the form of a gun or a pistol. Depending on what gun you equip depends on how many bullets you can fire, but the gun is good for obviously enemies that are further away, and also switching between the sword and the guns is quite simple, as all you do is press the button, which on PlayStation is a triangle. Presentation wise, Cat Quest 3 is very similar to the previous two games, but obviously with a pirate coat of paint. Something I do want to mention though is that with the previous two games there was an arrow guiding the player to either the quest marker or the side quest location. This game there isn't that at all, where you have to kind of go there yourself. You can get a marker by tagging it on the map, but if you don't know that, then obviously you have to just fend for yourself. But besides from that, the game is very similar to Cat Quest 2, where the menus are nice and clean, but obviously everything just has a pirate coat of paint on it. So those are my thoughts on Cat Quest 3. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time.